Hello there, welcome back to Lessons from a Pro. It is Friday, and on Friday, I do a Lessons from a Pro segment. My name is Jason Panolan. I'm an NHL alumnus and a high-performance mindset coach for aspiring athletes who want to play their best. And today is the day where I break down a clip, whether it be an audio clip or a video clip, and talk about some of the elements, some of the intangibles required, whether it be mindset, whether it be relationships, whether it be personal development, that is going to allow a player to maybe see things in a different perspective and help them out a little bit. And today's episode, we're going to talk about a clip where Chris Dingman, a former first rounder to the Calgary Flames back in 1994, went on to win 2 Stanley Cup championships. Yes, not one, but 2, one with Colorado and another one with Tampa Bay, where he talks about his first year in the league. In the league by, I mean the AHL, first year pro. So he leaves as a first rounder, goes all the way to the Memorial Cup as the captain of the Brandon Wheat Kings, doesn't get a sniff out of training camp, goes to the minors where he finds a coach that will not put him on the ice, doesn't play him very much. He's frustrated, really hard season. And I ask him what he would have done differently if he would do it all again. Now let's listen to what Chris Dingman says about how he would handle his first year pro differently. And then I'll break down how that works, what it means, and how it can apply to you in your situation.
To be honest, to go in there and challenge them to a fight. To be honest, you hear the stories of Chris Chelios when who was a Keenan sat him out or something. He went in his office and he took his stick. And I've met Chelly a couple of times, a great guy. He took his stick and knocked everything off his desk and said, "You're not sitting me out. You do that again, I'm gonna kill you." And then you remember, the roofs that were the styrofoam, the squares, whatever that styrofoam, whatever stuff. And they javelined his stick into the roof and walked out. And he never sat out. And he never sat out again. And I think it was Chelios or Danico. It was one of those two guys. I heard a similar story about Danico, but if I would have done it differently, that's what I would have done. I would have went in and I would have challenged Baxter and said, "You better freaking play me, or why aren't you playing me?" And got in his face, because I think it was a guy that didn't like rocking the boat. And
so Chris Dingman says that he would go in there and challenge him to a fight. Now, I definitely do not recommend you going into your coach's office and challenging him to a fight. However, I will say I've witnessed that before, and the moral of this story is that for the right personality type, you do need to stand up for yourself differently. Now, there are coaches in today's game in 2021 that are still very, very aggressive and abrasive and will play mind games. And generally, those types of coaches, the response they want is one that shows passion. That's the key here. That is actually what the coach is looking for. And I bet if we could rewind the clock and if we could ask Paul Baxter, the coach in question in this case, what he was looking for from Chris, would have been some fire, would have been some passion, would have allowed him to know that Chris was not content and was not happy in the situation that he was putting in him. Now, there's other ways. There's other types of coaches too. There are coaches that are more quiet. There are more coaches that are more straightforward. There are coaches that are going to handle the situation of not playing you differently. But you should never feel like you should just toe the line and not say a word and just go about your business. That doesn't show the coach anything. So you don't necessarily need to go to your personality type. You don't need to go in there swinging sticks and yelling and screaming. But you do need to show up. You do need to go to bat for yourself. You do need to be accountable to your own development, to your own welfare, and to your own career. So always, always, always stand up for what you think is right and for what you want. Now, the flip side to that is you need to be accountable to that discussion. If you want to be on the power play, if you want to be on the PK, if you want to get first line minutes, and the coach asks you to do something to earn that, you need to make sure that you operate and you go and you do the thing, whatever the thing is that coach wants you to do. But there's definitely relationships. Relationships matter. Coach-player relationships make or break players. And oftentimes the players aren't equipped because they're in a subservient position. They don't know how to handle that personality type. They don't know how to represent themselves. They want to avoid conflict. They're not sure what to say, so they avoid the situation. And they feel isolated and they feel alone and they don't know what they're supposed to do, and nothing improves. So there are ways to improve relationships. In Dinger's case, he says he would have went in there and been much more physical or confrontational, and that might have been the right approach for Paul Baxter. But an approach is definitely warranted. So there's my advice on player-coach relationships. Until next time, play hard. Keep your head up.